Join me.
Again, unfortunately.
Again, 2 in a row. So this is probably not released back to back, but maybe we'll do it just because
we'll see.
Start of the thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so welcome to Common Ground.
Welcome.
Anina Killer's personal website. Yeah, great.
Yeah, she's
just
very lucky.
Just wonderful lady.
Yeah.
I've never met her, but I love her deep in my heart.
Yeah.
So this story has nothing to do with rare earth. It in fact happened years before rare earth. You don't know the story, I
have no
presume.
idea.
I think I've probably told you it at some point in passing, but this is, in my opinion, the best story of my entire life. It's something that, oh my God.
That's a big call.
The day it happened was one of the weirdest days of my whole life. So this is Japan, I'm going to say 2012, maybe 2013. My wife and I are visiting Japan, and my wife and I met in Japan, actually. We went to university there together. She's from Hungary, but, like every Hungarian-Canadian couple, we met in university in Japan.
Of course.
So we went back to Japan to go see some old friends, and she was out visiting her friend in somewhere in the outskirts of Tokyo. So I was walking through downtown Tokyo. I'm going to say 11:30 in the morning.
I know what you're about to say.
I
know what you're about to say. Yeah, yeah.
He knows everything now. We've spent so much time together.
Too much, I would do it.
Too much time together. Yeah. So it is Tokyo, maybe 11:30 a.m. And I'm walking down a street, and it's the red light district of Tokyo, but I don't really know that. I don't know Tokyo that well. I went to university near Osaka, so it's just another giant city. And I'm walking through, and I speak Japanese, so I do sort of start to recognize that this is a bit of a seedier area. And as I'm walking down the street, 3 fingers claw my shoulder and sort of spin me around. And there's a guy, here, just right up to my face. And in Japanese, you don't ask questions with tone. So a question has a word at the end, ka, instead of changing the tone of the sentence. So you'd be sort of saying like, how are you, ka? Instead of how are you? Changing the tone of the sentence. So this guy looks me right in the face and without the question tone says in Japanese, Japan girl sex. And it was so funny. like it was just so unexpected, right? He's a pimp.
Of course.
It's prostitution. That's not funny. But having someone this close to your face at 11:30 in the morning say the words Japan girl sex, that's funny.
It is quite funny.
So I start to laugh, and because I'm in the street in Tokyo, I have my phone out and the camera's open because I was taking a picture of the street. So now I'm looking at this guy right here, and I get the camera. I move it up to his face, and I start to take the picture, which he is obviously opposed to.
Of course.
So, and I should note that the rest of this story happens over about a second and a half, maybe 2 seconds, but it felt like 30 minutes.
I'm picturing the camera.
30 minutes. So I move my camera up. He slaps my arm down, and now I realize I'm in kind of a fight, like the fight or flight mode, and my head kicks off. And again, this is less than a third of a second that all of this has happened in. And so I notice he has this Bluetooth in his ear, and he's wearing this, like a diaper cut into a third, manila taped to his face. So he's got a diaper on his face. That should be, I forgot to mention that earlier. There's a diaper going all the way up here.
Okay.
He's got 3 fingers, and he's got a Bluetooth in his ear. And he's obviously Yakuza, so whatever in my head immediately clicks is get rid of the Bluetooth.
Yeah.
So I take my finger and I flick the Bluetooth out. And it goes ripping out of his ear into the street. So now his Bluetooth's flying in the street, and this pisses him off, obviously.
As it should.
So he grabs my shoulder.
You're a smart man.
Yeah, I'm a smart man. So he grabs my shoulder, so I grab his shoulder. And now I realize, again, we're about a second in. I realize I'm fighting this man, 11:30 in the morning. And he's maybe this tall. He's not a big man. And so we're tussling a little bit back and forth, half a second tussle. And all I can think is like video games, the boss always has a weakness. And this guy's got a diaper just ripping across his face, right? So I take my free hand that doesn't have the phone in it. I release his shoulder and I just smack his face. And he recoils like 4 feet. Like it clearly hurt. And so now we're about 4 feet apart. His Bluetooth in the street, his diaper's all hurt, and
what are you thinking?
What are you gonna do now? We both just look at each other, sort of like cats when they fight and they stop fighting and they have that just hesitation, and we just start backing up. but looking at each other, right? Just like taking steps back. And now we're like 15 feet apart, and we both just turn and walk
Casually,
away.
like-
Totally a casual. This is 3 seconds. A 3-second span this has all happened in. So I got in a fight with this Yakuza pimp, slapped him in his diaper, and we just walked off. And I was like, my adrenaline
Well, yeah.
was 100%. My heart was going like a hummingbird. So I walked around. I went to a stationery store.
Okay.
And
Oh,
I
yeah,
walked
you-
around this
you
stationery store for like 20 minutes because I didn't know what to do. What are you supposed to do after you fought a pimp at 11:30 in the morning? And so I walked down the stationery store and I bought a pencil, which you've seen. I have it
still
here,
have
in
it.
fact. I've had that pencil for about now 7 years, almost 6
Your
years.
favorite one, I've
It
heard.
is my favorite pencil because it reminds me of this story, this really stupid story. And then I went and had a beer and completely non sequitur to the
Yeah,
story. But
like-
while I was having that beer, the version of the extreme Japanese right wing, what I would call Japanese Nazis, drove by in their little loudspeaker cars.
I remember that.
And I was just like, the whole day felt
Interesting.
fake. Like it just didn't feel like a real thing that happens to real people. And I was texting my wife. I was texting people back in Canada, but it's a 12-hour difference or 13-hour difference or something. So my friends back in Canada weren't awake. And I'm just losing my mind trying to contact someone about this thing that just happened to me. And yeah, that was a funny day. Anyway, that's the sort of thing that this stupid common ground is going to be. Anina, I hope that you liked that story because it's probably my dumbest story. It's only going to get less dumb from there, presumably.
That
Hopefully.
might be a good thing.
Hopefully, yeah. Very, very much so. I'd rather not fight pimps.
Yeah. Or buy pencils.
Or buy pencils. Pen's more useful when traveling because you can't use pencil in the...
Is it though? Pencil, you can... I don't know.
Thanks, guys.